Stardust, a tragedy that could have been avoided. Chained and blocked exits hang in our memories. Time to reflect. That was then. Another time, another place. This is now. Stardust took 48 lives in one fire. But every year since, on average, 48 people have died in fires here. We've one of the worst records in the world. So are we building tomorrow's tragedies today? And is the fire regime that's there to protect us up to the job?
Fire brigade was called to the scene shortly after 5 o'clock this morning.
Within an hour, she and 5 of her children were dead.
It's been a day of heartbreak and grief.
9 out of 10 of our fire deaths happen in the safety of our own homes.
She had lived in the area all her life. A post-mortem examination was carried out.
The dead children have been named as
3 girls died in the fire.
The highest number of fire deaths in Europe is in Ireland.
The baby was removed by ambulance to Cork University Hospital, where she was pronounced dead a short time later.
Where you live may well determine how safe you are.
Neighbours were woken by the sound of screams from the house. 2 men died in the fire.
It's the carbon monoxide that kills. One lungful of carbon monoxide, you have very little chance, if any, of recovery.
A next-door neighbour made heroic efforts but failed.
There is a stunning level of incompetence in this whole area in this country.
There are obviously a lot of people out there still suffering deep hurt and deep dissatisfaction with the state to the extent that they feel let down by the system.
In the heart of the capital, this is Ross Road, and these are Dublin City Council flats. Run down and neglected for years, in the 1990s residents looked forward to a new beginning.
We'd no running hot water, we'd no bathrooms, we had nothing like that. So when finally they decided to renovate the flats, we were absolutely delightful, thought it was brilliant. So when we moved out to temporary accommodations and coming back, we all looked forward to a new start. But unfortunately we never got that.
In April 2002, a fire at 4 o'clock on a Monday morning with devastating consequences. 3 children trapped in a bedroom in a top-floor flat.
I was awoken by someone screaming out the back. Screaming, very piercing scream.
I heard Tracy screaming, "Someone get me babies, someone get me babies." And I went up to the balcony and I called her name, and she screamed, "There's a fire, get me babies, get me babies."
Up the top of the stairs, there was other few people there. Someone kicked the door in and all a big puff of smoke came out. But everybody ran, panicked.
The window did break, but there was no way of us getting to that bedroom window to get the kids out.
Asleep in the back bedroom were the children, Kelsey and Clayton, and his twin sister Kim. Their mother Tracy was asleep in the bedroom opposite. The fire started around here, next to the door to the bedroom area. At the kitchen end of the living room, a fire alarm went off. It awoke Tracy. There was no alarm in the bedroom lobby. The children couldn't have escaped from the bedroom because fire blocked their route. Their mother and neighbours couldn't get to them either. And there was no way of getting in from the window outside. The balcony didn't reach that far. The children were trapped in this inner room.
I think everybody tried. Everybody tried to do their best for the children that night, but there was nothing. We tried, but there was absolutely nothing none of us could do to get to them.
Battling through the intense heat and smoke, firefighters managed to rescue one of the children, Kim. 2 firemen were later hospitalised.
The fire brigade came We just seen people coming up the stairs, so we were all taken it out, put out the hall, and one by one then they brought the kids down.
I thought the kids were all right. Because the next morning I found out they were all cut them and died. That way I thought I should have done more than what I did do, you know. So there's nothing I could do in the first place. And that's about it.
Fire consultant Robin Knox went and examined the scene. Reporting back to the family and to residents, he blamed the flat's design.
There's a fundamental problem with the basic design of the apartments. Quite simply, it's a fundamental design fault.
Dublin City Council's own architects designed the refurbished flats. They have a balcony for escape, but crucially, many bedrooms have no balcony outside. The council's own fire prevention office had warned that the flat's design did not comply with the fire requirements of building regulations. In a letter to the city architects, they said that these so-called inner rooms were not acceptable.
The fire prevention section had a problem with the inner rooms. In fact, the rooms where the children were trapped. But there's no paper trail to say that the design team had corrected that to the satisfaction of the fire prevention officer.
The design was amended to cater for the concerns that the fire officer had at the time.
But letters like these were advisory only and often ignored, a former city architect says.
The weight given to these communications from the fire prevention section to our section would not have been very great at all, and in most cases would have been regarded as a nuisance.
After the tragedy, the City Council's own consultant backed the design, but the council concedes that the balconies could be extended.
Clearly, in 175 flats, there would be a possibility that in some cases the balconies could be extended, and they may work. But there's an internal lobby with fire protection, and that's the means of escape.
But on the night, there was fire and smoke in that lobby, and there was no other means of escape.
Well, it was quite alarming, to say the least, how the children were trapped in this inferno.
In the refurbishment, the council had promised fire doors in all the flats. It maintains that the doors didn't fail in the fatal fire. But Robin Knox examined the lobby door, and he disputes that.
I would be firmly of the opinion that once the fire started in the living room, the door disintegrated very rapidly, and the fire spread through the door, or the remnants of the door, and the smoke and hot gases went through the little lobby at the back and into the children's bedroom, and they were asphyxiated effectively.
The council says sample doors from Ross Road flats have since been fire tested.
The results of those tests were that the doors were satisfactory.
That they performed and
Yes,
that they were up to the standard of the building regulations.
That's right. Yeah.
That they performed their intended purpose and they didn't fail.
Yeah.
And can you release the results of those
well, that's
tests?
a matter for the housing department. That's not